Welcome back to my channel, Scale Model Kit Review Studio, and welcome back to another FanHome Build the Enterprise D. That's right, this is from Star Trek, The Next Generation. This is the largest metal and plastic Enterprise kit out there. Do not pass it up. Head over to FanHome today and subscribe to this build. I put a direct link in the description below, right here, and also above. Let's get started. Welcome back to the studio and welcome back to another fantastic installment of the FanHome Star Trek The Next Generation Build the U.S.S Enterprise D. Now I just received pack 14 or shipment number 14, and in 14 I'll be building stages 51 through 54. And if you haven't done so already, head over to FanHome and subscribe to this fantastic build today. There's nothing else out there like it. If you're a Star Trek fan, this is a must-have for your collection. Mostly metal, and it's a fantastic build. I'm really having a lot of fun building this. So the guide here, the instructions and the guide give us the TV episode guides. And we're here with Yesterday's Enterprise from Season 3, Episode 15. If there are any episodes that you really enjoyed, put them in the comments below. Let me know what you liked. Wonderful there. And Sarek on the Edge of Forever. The Offspring, Season 3, Episode 16. Very cool there. Sins of the Father, Season 3, Episode 17. Very cool. And lastly, Allegiance, Season 3, Episode 18. Alright, let me get the parts and show you. Let me get what came in this pack, all the parts, and show you what they look like. Stage 51, we're working on one of the other nacelles there. And one of the panels here, 52, some more parts for the nacelle, and another panel. Stage 53, it's a large bag. Another panel is being assembled. A lot of life raft doors. And lastly, stage 54, another panel there. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and show you what I've completed so far in this build. I'll be right back. And here's everything I've completed so far. Here's the Cobra neck. Looks great. A lot of work was done into that, but I think it looks fantastic there. And the upper saucer, we'll be adding a lot more to that in this stage, in this pack that is. Looks great, and you can see what everything looks like from underneath. It's a good idea to go through and check all your screws from underneath, make sure they're all secure and tight, check all your wiring, all your zip ties. your boards, make sure everything's plugged in correctly. Just give it a good inspection, make sure everything looks good. But that's what it looks like so far. That is nice. I'm very impressed with this so far. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And to begin this video, we'll work on stage 51. Here are the parts for that. And the assembly instructions for 51. So we'll assemble another deck panel, and I'll already have that fully assembled before we even begin in this video. Install the reflector. There's two different reflectors that go onto this to keep everything in place. Do a light test for that panel, and we'll take and install that panel on the saucer, and then it gets plugged into the PCB board. Let's look at the parts. Here's parts for 51. Let's get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. Here's the nacelle lower frame, made of plastic. We've seen that before. One of the panels made of metal. Very nice finish on that. Blacked out windows. Life raft escape hatch covers. CP, DM, and BM screws, along with another LED. And here's the escape hatch pod covers and the blacked out windows installed. Now we're going to install those reflectors, but it's not just reflectors, they are panels in themselves. We have a panel from 49, stage 49, that we assembled previously. We're going to be using that. And the panel from 50. We're going to be using that also. That's going to get mounted on the bottom of this. I took and taped that LED we received in this stage. I taped it to the panel from 49, and that's going to mount down right on the right side here and hold those life raft doors in place, just like that. 2 DM screws will go into that, and they're both in. Take and bend up this wire out of the way. Very pliable here, don't be afraid to bend them. Now to get that out of the way, we'll bring our next panel over, the panel from stage 50, and we're going to mount that right beside it to hold those windows in place. 2 more DM screws go into that. And there you go. The DM screws are put in here. Just make sure it's flush with the other panel right beside it. Turn it over, and that's what that looks like there. We're going to go ahead and do a light test on this next. And the light test works there. Looks great. Now let's install this on the saucer. Okay, we're going to install the panel right here. We're going to take our 2 leads coming off the left side of the panel there. They're just going to go through that right there. And I did kind of push them up, bend them up, and it's going to insert just like that. And we'll put our screws in on the other side. Okay, the panel is installed. 6 BM screws were installed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I also installed the CP screws, 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can see my LED wires are running here. That's going to get plugged into the circuit board. So wire number 50 went right here on the board. Wire number 49 went right there in front of it. And then wire 51 goes on the opposite right over there. And that's all I do with stage 51. Let's head over and get started on stage 52. Let's look at the parts for stage 52 and the assembly instructions. And here's the parts. And we'll begin on the lower half of the port side warp nacelle. That's what that looks like there. And once again, work on a panel. Put our windows in, reflector, install those onto the saucer. Light test, of course, and then plug it into the PCB board. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's parts for 52. Let's get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. We have the transporter emitter panel, another metal panel. Very nice. And the bottom of another panel, made of metal also. Reflector, the buzzard EM field projector, the lower side of it. Blacked out windows, clear windows, DM, BM screws, and another set of LED lights. Going to slot this buzzard EM field projector lower, and it has the little notches here. That's going to go up against those screws, and it's just going to slot in on top, just like that. I'll show you from this side how it just slots in. And we're going to mount this to the bottom of our lower frame, and that's this right here. Lower frame is going to go up against that. We're going to put in 3 BM screws. And 3 BM screws are put into this. That's how they look. I did add just a little bit of oil to them because they are going into metal. It helps it out a little bit. You're less apt to break the screw head off. Going to install the transporter emitter pad, and it has 3M tape on the back side, which is probably the best tape you can get for this. This is photo etch, very thick photo etch. Sometimes you can use a little X-Acto blade to help you along to peel this back. And make sure the surface is dry and just press fit it in place. That's how that looks there. Now we'll go ahead and install the windows on this, and I'll be right back. And there's the windows installed, the clear and the blacked out. I'd like to show you this, what it looks like before I put the reflector on. The reflector is ready to go. I installed the LED lights with my Scotch tape, and we're going to put that down on top here and put the flange screws, which are the DM screws, into this. We're going to put 4 of them in this time. And the 4 DM screws are in, plus I'm doing the light test on it, and that's what that looks like there. Now we're ready to install this on the saucer. And here's my saucer. You can see we have the one on the other side already installed. This one's going to go on this side here and insert and get screwed down with BM screws. Okay, so this wire right here on the right side or the left side of the panel, I had to remove it so I can insert the wiring on this part of the frames. Okay, so it can come through, and of course the other side is just going to feed in on this part of the frame, and this one's going to feed on that side, and it fits down much better when you do that. Everything lines up. So I'll go ahead and put my screws in. 3 BM screws went into this, one right here, one right there, and one right there. I'll run my wire bundle right here up to the circuit board, and it got plugged in right there towards the end, right there. And there you go. That's what it looks like on the other side. And that completes stage 52. Let's head over and get started on stage 53. And let's look at the parts and build instructions for stage 53. Here's those parts there. Looks like we'll be working on the deck panel, the real large one there, and the front of the buzzard collector. And we'll be working on the buzzard collector first. Install that on the front of the nacelle. Just like that. Assembling the very large deck panel. Installing the escape pod covers and windows. And the arboretum windows. That's how that looks there. Do a light test. We'll do the other side. Same thing. And do the light test on it. I'll show you both sides completed. We already know how to install windows and such. So unless I run into something, that will be it. Let's look at the parts and I'll be right back. Very large bag here for 53. And large deck panel, which is made of metal. Very cool there. Has the Enterprise stamped on that. Let's get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts, and here's that very large deck panel with the windows for the arboretum. Now those are blacked out in this case, and I'm not going to do any modifications to make those windows function in this case. Some people have, and you can probably find videos on YouTube showing that. Here's the reflector panels for those windows. Of course, we have the front of our buzzard collector and the windows here. All right. Also, LED light. Now I'll go ahead and assemble the buzzard collector. We need to retrieve our part we received in stage 2, which is the front of the buzzard collector. That's this right here. And the way this all works is we're going to insert the clear one into that. And I think I should go ahead and frost that. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I went ahead and I frosted it with a matte clear. I used the Behr brand chalk decorative paint matte clear for that. I didn't have any more of my Krylon, but this works great also. So that's going to insert into that. That's going to insert into that. And that's going to insert into that. Then we're going to bring over our already completed, not completed, but the one we started and we were working on back in stage 50. This is our nacelle, upper nacelle. And I'm going to go ahead and insert the LED into that. Just like that. And this will get installed turn it over. There we go. Just like that. Okay. That's how that looks there. And next I'll work on the very large deck panel here, which is very nice. I'll install all the escape hatch covers and the windows along with the arboretum window, and that's just blacked out here in this case, and that's how that looks there, blacked out. And we'll install all the windows. And there's the cover for the arboretum windows. There's your escape hatch pod covers and your windows. I'll put the reflector on next. Alright, panel secured down with 3 DM screws, and then here's your other escape hatch covers with the black windows. There's no clear windows on this side. I'll go ahead and put the reflector down on it, although it really doesn't serve any purpose. And we'll put 3 more DM screws. And all the screws are in, secured. Flip this over, and you can see our lights work there. Did a light test there, and everything looks good on this side. And that's all I do with this stage, stage 53, I believe. Let's head over to do the final stage for this video, stage 54. Let's look at the parts and build instructions for stage 54. Here's the parts. And it looks like we do a lot here for 54. Put a lot of windows and life rafts into this part of the panel on the outside of that very large panel we just worked on the left side. Plus an LED. Work on the other side, same thing with an LED. Going to put some tape over those panels there to kind of black them out. Do light tests each side. And that's going to get fitted to the saucer. Flip it over, putting in FM screws on the back side. Then we'll work on the lower nacelle, upper and lower nacelle. Going to insert the skeletal frame on top there. Put our screws in. And that will complete stage 54. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's parts for stage 54. Reflectors there, the tape, and escape hatch pod covers. Let's get a closer look. And here's those parts. Escape hatch covers, windows, the reflectors to go on the end of that long panel, the tape, the part for the buzzard collector on the nacelle, AM screw, CP screw, DM screws, and FM screws, and 2 sets of LEDs. And work on the right side of the panel. I have all the escape hatch covers on, making sure that the red line is facing the widest part of the panel, which is this direction. Clear and blacked out windows. They want us to put the tape on next. And this tape covers this upper section here. Just like that. That'll hold those in place. Bring over our reflector, have the LED taped in already, you can see that, and it's simply just going to go down on top of this and hold everything in place. And we'll put our screws into this. These will be a combination of DM and AM screws. 3 DM screws will go in right here, and an AM screw on top. And that's what that looks like there. And the other side. That's how that looks. And did a light test on it. You can just see it there. Now we'll do the other side. And here's the other side. You can see the escape hatch pod covers and the windows, how they are configured. And again, we're going to put some tape on the top here. Looks good. And we'll put our reflector on. The reflector already has the LED taped down, and we'll insert that where it needs to go. And I'll put my screws in. Be right back. And there you go. Panels installed. 3 DM screws went in here, and an AM screw up there in the corner. Doing the light test, you can see the light works. That's how that looks there. Now we'll go ahead and install this on the saucer. I'll be right back. Okay, next we'll go ahead and install this on the saucer, and you can see it goes across there like that. That looks good. We need to take our LEDs and we need to run them through, and they're actually going to go in right here. So I need to run them through, put the tips in through there. And these will actually be inserted just like that. Same with the other side. It's going to run through and go through there. Just a single one. There we go. And that's how they look. Push those through. Okay. And that's going to go down just like that. Like no issues at all. Pull those through. There we go. And that's how they insert. I'll flip this over and put the screws in on the other side. Okay. Okay, the panel is installed. I put all the FM screws in. Let me show you what I did. Get a little closer view. Now, in order for this panel to interlock with the upper panel, you can see how that fits there. I had to take and remove the screw right there on the upper panel, and I loosened up the screw up in the corner. It's still in, but it's loose, and that allowed this panel to move a little bit so they could get interlocked together. Same with the other side. In order to get the panel interlocked here, I had to take the screw out right there and loosen that screw up there. So I'm going to put those screws back in because all my FM screws are installed here on these panels, right here, right here, right here, right there, these two right there, right there, right there, and these two up here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put these other screws back in and tighten down those other two on the top. I'll be right back. Okay, I tightened down those screws. We'll look to see what our panel looks like on the other side. And looks great. Fully installed there. Looks good. Everything's smooth and on it the way it should be. And that looks great. Now we'll go ahead and work on the nacelle. Now we'll bring over this nacelle here, and we're going to take this cover plate, blackout plate, and that's going to go on like that, and reinsert that into the front, just like that. And that's what that must be, is just a little blackout plate. Look closely how that fits there. Looks good. Now we'll go ahead and install the other part next. Okay, before I put this together, I want to make sure all my LEDs are installed. That LED is installed in the front here. I got my wiring running through the skeleton here. I got the back LED inserted, and I'll go ahead and put everything, press everything down the way it should be. Okay, and we'll put our screws in, and everything should stay in place here. CP screws go into this. Okay, if you look closely, all the CM screws are installed. Working all the way up. That's how that looks there. Looks great. That completes the final stage for this video, stage 54. Looks great. I'll be right back. And that completes pack 14 of Build the Enterprise D by FanHome. If you think you would like to get this for yourself, head over to FanHome and subscribe to this today. I put a direct link in the description below. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and smash that like button. Until pack 15, happy modeling everybody, and take care.